Good early Tuesday evening, everyone. This is Jacob here live with West Michigan Weather, and we also have Jonah along with us here, and we are
How y'all
joining
doing?
you. Yep, and we are joining you live here. Excuse me, because the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for portions of southwestern Calhoun and southeastern Kalamazoo counties. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 8 o'clock, and this is a cell we have been watching for a little while. It is warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but we do have the tornado possible tag associated on it as well. And that is because we have been watching some signs of rotation within this storm for the last little while. And the National Weather Service has opted to go with a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag for it. Reading the text from the National Weather Service, it's severe thunderstorm warning again in effect for southwestern Calhoun and southeastern Kalamazoo County until 8 o'clock this evening. At 7:07 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located 7 miles to the south of the Climax area, or 13 miles to the southwest of Battle Creek, moving off to the northeast at around 20 miles per hour. Again, the primary hazard is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, although with the tornado possible tag on it, we cannot rule out the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. And some locations impacted by the severe thunderstorm include Battle Creek, Fulton, and the Pine Creek area. A few other locations looking here on the map is the Gardeners Corners area, the Joppa area over towards the Stanley Corners area as well. So if you're anywhere in this orange polygon here, the right thing to do is head inside, sturdy structure, most preferably away on the lowest floor of a building. Stay away from those windows, most preferably too, and be alert for the possibility of a brief spin-up tornado, which may require a tornado warning later on. So, again, just repeat one more time: severe thunderstorm warning in effect for southwestern Kalamazoo and southeastern Calhoun County until 8 o'clock. Let's take a look. Let's go from the reflectivity radar here. We're going to go over the velocity. And our area of rotation we've been watching is sort of near the Athens area, just northwest of there is where we've been watching. It's not terribly tight or anything.
I will say it's gotten a lot broader over the last little bit here.
Yeah, it was a little bit tighter in nature a little bit ago, which actually we can show you that here. Bear with me here. Okay. So, see how it was quite a bit, not necessarily, a little bit tighter there over towards the Gardeners Corners and Fulton area. And then, same story there. And then it has broadened out over the last few scans. But we are looking a few thousand feet up here from the Grand Rapids radar. And that does not mean you still don't have the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds down at the surface. So, again, if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning, we are watching the rotation, but you'll want to be inside in that sturdy building anyway, if anything, for the high wind threat. So, all right.
Yep. It might be trying to occlude off to the north a little bit as well as the storm tracks off to the northeast, so keeping an eye on that as well.
All right. And look through anything else. That kind of looks noisy, but I'm kind of interested in that near Marshall as well. Look at velocity. Kind of looks a little noisy.
Yeah, like I said, it might be occluding up to the north there. But yeah, you're right. It looks messy. Also, right over Pine Creek there, maybe might be a new area of interest.
Yeah. Well, it is quite noisy. I don't see an area of discernible tight rotation at this time, but we are still watching this closely. And we'll go back to reflectivity here. And earlier we also had a more defined hook with it as well. Now it's kind of messy again. Oops. There we go. There we go. Yeah, see, I was kind of hooking there earlier near the Gardener's Corners area again. See how it was hooking there? That was a storm attempting to wrap around and trying to rotate, which we did have which we have been seeing reports of wall crowd with the storm earlier as well. So it was from train spotters. So again, not really that discernible at this time, but we are still watching it closely. Aside from the severe weather threat with this storm, there has also been a lot of heavy rain, especially across portions of West Michigan, but especially across the I-94 corridor over the last little while. We have several flood advisories and even a flood warning in effect for portions of Kalamazoo and Calhoun County. And that is because we've had indications of up to 4 inches of rain. And that was a little while ago when it was still raining, as a matter of fact. So we'll take a look here at storm total. And
I don't mean to interrupt you, Jacob, but there are multiple reports of 58 mile per hour measured wind gusts coming out of Calhoun County with this thunderstorm.
Yep, I was just seeing that coming down the wire myself. 58 mile per hour wind gust was confirmed at the Battle Creek Executive Airport automated station there. That was a 58 mile per hour wind gust that was confirmed at 6:31, so a little bit earlier, but we do have confirmation of that, and that would not surprise me based on earlier indications. So, but anyways, back to the flooding. I was showing you the. This is radar estimates, so may not be exactly perfect, but we are starting to approach 5 inches of rain, at least on radar indications, near the Fort Custer Recreation Area, south of the Augusta area. Near in that area to the west of Battle Creek, we are seeing indications now of we are approaching 5 inches of rain, kind of towards the Eagle Lake area, over towards the Fort Custer National Cemetery just south of there. Again, this is radar estimated, so it might not exactly be that much at the ground, actual measurements, but still quite heavy rain across portions of West Michigan this afternoon. And in fact, we still have a flood advisory actually for portions of Kent and Ottawa counties, excuse me, that goes until 10 o'clock. And we'll take a look at storm totals there. Not as quite as high as the I-94 corridor there, but we are seeing indications of actually 3 to maybe 4 inches of rain in that area as well. And that is with multiple rounds of thunderstorms we've had throughout the day today. So we'll go back to reflectivity, zoom out. And we are watching some other storms around the area that are currently not severe. We are focusing on this area over towards the Irving, Hastings area, up towards the Lake Odessa and Clarksville area. We'll take a look at velocity on that. Earlier it was showing perhaps a little bit of gustier winds, but that has since backed off just a little bit. But still, there might be a pocket, maybe some gusty wind into southeast Kent County there. Nothing too significant at this point, but something we are watching. We'll go back to reflectivity again. We are watching some other storms across portions of southern Gratiot into northern Clinton County. These are not severe at this point, but again, your heavy rainfall, heavy downpours, and some cloud-to-ground lightning will continue to be possible. In fact, I've been hearing thunder occasionally here in the Ithaca area where I'm based. So just again, nothing severe at this time. We are watching it closely. And as a side note, there has been severe thunderstorms over in southeast Lower as well. In fact, earlier we did have a tornado warning up towards the Midland Bay City areas. I'm not seeing any reports of anything on the ground at this point from that, but again, just goes to show that even on these days where we don't have a tornado risk highlighted by the Storm Prediction Center, because the tornado risk today I'll show you that here, actually. It was less than 2%. There's nothing there. So it's less, but that's less than 2%, not zero. And sometimes you can get these storms that they can interact with each other or interact with boundaries, and they can kind of spin up from time to time. And that's what we've been watching here. If we go back to radar with this storm, now moving in towards the north of the Athens area, it is beginning to move out of Kalamazoo County. We'll be moving into Calhoun County over the next few minutes. And we'll go back to velocity here, actually, one more time. And again, nothing terribly tight at this point. Not really seeing that much, but still, at least some signs of gusty winds potentially there. Mainly north of the Athens area. And so again, you'll still want to be inside southeastern portions of Kalamazoo County. This will be beginning to move out over the next few minutes, but you'll still want to remain inside because you still have some heavier rainfall, and if for no other reason, cloud to ground light hazard. So I do have a new report coming in. NWS observations. It sounds like this is the Battle Creek Airport. 3.55 inches of rain at 7:05. 2.83 inches from 5:53 to 6:53 p.m. So that is a 1 hour rainfall rate of 2.83 inches, and it is still raining. So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it certainly explains why we have the flood warning there. So, but again, so if nothing else, the severe weather, which is still a lower end threat, but if anything, the heavy rainfall is also a big concern across portions of West Michigan. Jonah, do you have anything you want to add real quick?
Not particularly. The northern Indiana radar site is down, so it's hard to get a second look both at our severe thunderstorm warning, but as well as this new special weather statement that was just issued south of the US 12 corridor, in far northern Indiana, Goshen area, to the east of South Bend, with some thunderstorms that are possibly moving up towards the US 12 corridor. Again, hard to get a good look at those, but we do have some thunderstorms down along the state line as well that we're watching. And there is some additional activity building across the lake as well over in Wisconsin, yet again, both near the Milwaukee area and near the Green Bay area. Both are on track to impact at least some area or some portion of our coverage area. So we're keeping an eye on those as we go through the next several hours here. But as Jacob said, our primary focus right now is on that severe thunderstorm warning. Broad rotation still, but some frequent lightning and heavy rain certainly possible, irregardless of the low tornado threat with this storm.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we're back on velocity here. There is a couple areas I'm interested in. One near the Joppa and Stanley Corners area. That is where I'm watching potentially, again, some of that broad rotation. And then maybe towards the Athens area. Okay, yeah, towards the Athens area, potentially, again. Some broad rotation, nothing immediately tornadic to me, but something we are continuing to watch over the next few minutes. In fact, a new scan just came in.
Yeah, new scan.
Really the main focus, if you were to ask me in terms of rotation, it's kind of towards the Joppa, heading towards the Stanley Corners area, eventually towards the Beetle Lake area. You want to pay attention.
This storm might be trying to wrap up a little bit yet again, so...
Yeah. Let's go to reflectivity. So yeah, it might be trying to wrap up a little bit again, so just something to be aware of as this continues to move off to the northeast. And Marshall, just an early heads up for the Marshall area. You're not under a warning yet, even though you are likely seeing some heavy rainfall, some lightning. But you're not under a warning yet, but we will have to watch this storm as it moves off to the northeast. Depending on trends, additional statements or warnings may end up being required for the Marshall area and more of Calhoun County as well. So just keep an
I'm
eye
honestly
out.
kind of surprised there is not a special weather statement for portions of Calhoun County, the eastern half of Calhoun County, east I-69. Velocities are showing some winds up near that 40-mile-an-hour mark. In fact, there's even a couple of pixels over 40 miles an hour there, approaching Rice Creek east of Walnut Point there. So,
Yeah. So yeah, again, no statement or warning in effect for eastern portions of Calhoun County, but do be aware we are seeing at least on radar signs of at least a potentially 40-mile-per-hour winds near the Rice Creek area, and that will be moving towards the Duck Lake, Albion Landing, Springport, and eventually Albion as well. Right, want to watch out as well. Again, nothing severe at this point, but at least potential for gusty winds in that area as well, Calhoun County. Back to radar here, and again, our rotation we're watching continues near the Joppa area over towards M66 there. Over towards the, if I zoom in here, the B Drive South area near M66 and B Drive South. That is where we're watching. Over towards E Drive South as well. 6 Mile Road, 6.5 Mile Road, over towards 8 Mile Road. Near the Graham Lake area there. That is where we're watching. This broad rotation that's not, again, does not look immediately tornadic to me. We'll take a look here actually at the debris tracker just to be sure. I'm not really seeing anything there, so.
yeah, pretty messy.
Yeah, nothing that would
That we're
indicate.
looking through the rain at that. So,
yeah, that too. So we're looking through the rain, so that might kind of make that a little bit harder too. But again, no immediate signs of a tornado, but we are watching some signs of potentially some broad rotation that, if nothing else, could be producing some gusty to potential damaging winds of up to 60 miles per hour. I have nothing new from the Weather Service regarding that warning yet. It does continue for the next half hour, though, until 8 o'clock.
yeah.
So,
Latest aviation update from the forecast office in Grand Rapids says that thunderstorms will begin impacting the Lansing and Jackson areas here by 8 o'clock this evening. So these are on track to begin impacting those areas, and we're tracking that on radar, obviously. So that seems to line up. And then they're mentioning that while Grand Rapids and Muskegon are clear of the rain and thunderstorms currently, there will be additional widespread heavy rainfall. And that's, again, what I was mentioning a little bit earlier with these additional showers and thunderstorms developing back near the Milwaukee and Green Bay areas in Wisconsin across the lake. So, and they did update that severe thunderstorm warning. Good news, they did drop the tornado possible tag off of that severe thunderstorm warning. But the warning continues for the next half hour for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So Kalamazoo County, you are in the clear at this point. If you're in Calhoun County, western Calhoun County, Pine Creek, Joppa, Stanley Corners, and as far north as Beetle Lake, you guys are under that severe thunderstorm warning still for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
all right. So as Jonah just mentioned, the good news is that they did drop the tornado possible tag. That means that the rotation that which we'll check on that real quick. Yeah, again, it's not really all that tight either. In fact, if anything, looks like it might loosen up again a little bit. So,
Yep.
again, obviously it's at the point now where they don't feel that the tornado possible tag is necessary. But still, you still want to remain inside that sturdy building, preferably on the lowest floor, for the continued potential of a 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And that continues until 8 o'clock, unless things trend to where they allow it to be canceled or expired early. But again, no signs of that at this time. We continue with the severe thunderstorm warning. Taking a look over towards Marshall. Let me check reflectivity on that. That again. Whoa, what is that near Marshall? Velocity. Let me check reflectivity. Not sure if that's hail or potentially something. I'm always saying that because of the velocity. It's a little bit... The velocity is weaker there, and it's not really... I don't know if that's tornadic or not. But
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's hail, based on our hail
only...
tracker.
Yeah. Alright, let's go to our hail tracker real quick, just to verify that. And... There we go. And yeah, I'm going to agree with that. That's most likely hail at this point. Probably some small hail.
Yeah, small hail.
Potentially near the Marshall area. But we just had to double check with that. Just with that velocity signature, we have to double check these things. But
yeah, Echo Tops would seem to agree with that. That's the tallest point of the storm there, and it's getting up over 40,000 feet. So that's definitely possible there, or favorable for some small hail when we start getting storms that tall. So,
again, just something to be aware of near the Marshall area. I don't think it'll necessarily reach severe hail. That's quarter size, but again, small hail is certainly a possibility there near the Marshall area. And aside from that, if anything else, some gustier winds. We continue with that potential across into eastern Calhoun County near the Marengo area, Rice Creek, Albion Landing. You're potentially seeing some gusty winds, maybe up to around 40 miles per hour at this point. Again, nothing. Again, this is not severe limits. I am seeing a couple pixels actually approach 50 now, but that's a few thousand feet up. We have to keep in mind as well. So potentially 40 mile per hour wind gusts there across eastern Calhoun County. No statement or anything like that in effect at this point, but we are watching it closely nonetheless. So let's go back to reflectivity, and we'll take a general reset across all of West Michigan actually. And again, we are watching this complex of what has been strong to severe thunderstorms continue to move east across the area. And again, the main threats will continue to be isolated damaging wind gusts, at least as we head into the early evening hours. That will be the main threat. However, we've seen a few storms try to rotate occasionally, and even though there's no tornado risk outlined by the United Storm Prediction Center, we're not going to fully rule out that potential just yet. Just because we've been watching these storms kind of try to rotate from time to time today. So, all right. Looks like we're getting several flooding reports beginning to come in from Kalamazoo and Calhoun counties.
yeah, vehicles stuck, water rescue.
We've got 1 mile to the west of Battle Creek there. 911 call centers reporting a vehicle stuck in the water. I don't have details on where exactly that is just yet, but vehicle stuck in the water. 2 miles to the west-northwest of Springfield, 911 call center also reporting a partially submerged vehicle. And in Westwood, that's in Kalamazoo County, broadcast media is reporting standing water at West Main and North Drake Street there in the Westwood area.
Yeah, bottom line, if you're in Calhoun County or Kalamazoo County under these flood advisories and flood warnings, or if you're in Berry County under the flood advisory, or Kent or Ottawa counties under the flood advisory, and you come across flooded roadways, please do not drive through them. Most flooding related deaths occur in vehicles. So please do not attempt to drive through those roadways. It's extremely dangerous. You really have no way to know how deep that water truly is, or if the road's been washed out underneath of it. So again, most flooding deaths occur in vehicles from people trying to drive through flooded roadways rather than finding an alternate route. And that water can really hide some pretty intense dangers there, currents, roads missing from being washed out, all kinds of stuff. So,
yep, definitely a hazard there across portions of West Michigan. I will also mention that if you were in southeastern Kalamazoo in southwestern Calhoun County currently, but really anywhere across West Michigan today where we've had storms. If you have any storm reports to pass along to us, feel free to do so. Some things we're looking for in terms of reports is tornado. Obviously, if there's a tornado on the ground, if you can do it safely, we want those type of reports. Same goes for funnel and wall clouds. If you do have any hail reports to pass along, or wind gusts, or especially across portions of the area today, flooding reports and storm-related damage, feel free to send those along to us. Now, obviously, if it's an imminent life-threatening threat, such as a tornado on the ground, or if you have damage reports such as wires down or gas leaks, don't rush to report to us first. Call 911 first. That should be the first thing you do, and then report it to us after you've reached out to emergency services. And we also have to encourage you, we don't want civilians trying to chase these storms or see a tornado. Seek shelter if a warning is issued, or if you spot a tornado. Never approach again those down power lines. We would rather have damage reports after the fact and have you be safe than have you try to report, see a tornado or something, and then get hurt or worse. So, again, but if you do have storm reports to pass along to us, those are we highly encourage that. And there's multiple ways you can do that. You can do that on our live chat. I do have live chat open here. We are monitoring that. You can also report it to us, tag us on social media, on our social media platforms, or we also have a website to where you can submit those storm reports as www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Once again, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Again, only submit reports if you can do so safely. And I guess we should also add, if you have rainfall totals to report as well, those would be nice to have as well. So we'll go back to radar. Take a look at the storm in southwestern Calhoun County. And we'll take another look at velocity. And yeah, I'm not really seeing anything.
Yeah.
Really, maybe a little bit. A very broad rotation. Nothing really concerning to me in tornado, but potential. But Burlington, maybe a little bit of very broad rotation, but nothing extremely concerning there at this point. But mainly, if anything, it'll be gusty wind potential. This warning does continue for the next 20 minutes, but we'll see what they do when that time comes closer. We are also still monitoring some gustier winds across northeastern Calhoun County there. Near the Marengo and Albion areas, heading towards the Springport area into northwestern Jackson County as well. It does look like that cell I was trying to rotate earlier, east of the Lansing area. I'm not really seeing anything there now. In fact, it looks like that cell kind of fell apart. It was just one of those brief cells that was trying to spin a little bit. But again, we're also still monitoring not severe storms across portions of Ionia County, up in Gratiot County, over into Clinton County. We're not seeing anything close to severe of these storms, just really heavy rainfall and cloud ground lightning potential of these storms. We do have a couple heavier showers actually there near the into portions of Muskegon into northern Kent County. There in the southwest Montcalm County, as a matter of fact.
So, right over our headquarters, actually. It's raining cats and dogs here.
Yep. Again, not really seeing any lightning detected, at least on this system, but just some quick heavy downpours. So, with that,
can confirm just a lot of rain.
I will say that, and this applies especially with these storms off to our west as they track towards our area later. As we head later into the evening hours, that will be past the prime point for severe weather. So at that point, I will. While I never want to say it's zero, but I do think the already low end severe weather potential will probably be even lower at that point. And if those storms do make it, it probably won't be much more than a heavy rain additional heavy rainfall threat, or maybe some sub-severe gusty winds at worst, or something of that nature. But
Yeah,
I do. I
both of
don't.
the
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
both. I was just going to say both of the SPC and the Grand Rapids Forecast Office would agree with that line of thinking. This is pretty much the line we're concerned with, and then it'll pretty much just be a heavy rainfall and lightning threat through the remainder of the overnight hours.
Yep. Well, and that cell there we've been watching in Calhoun County. Not honestly, it's starting to look a little more messy, less organized, at least to me. So
Yep.
we'll have to see what the National Weather Service decides to do here in 15 minutes with that. But if that trend continues, I would not be surprised if they either cancel it or go ahead and let it expire.
Yet another. Oh, I thought I had another alert come through. Another.
Okay, that's in Ohio. That must have been northern Indiana, but
Gotcha.
down over there in northwest Ohio. But again, we are still watching just on the other side of the state line too, near the Elkhart, Goshen areas over towards Middlebury. We are watching these stronger storms, not severe, capable of wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour and pea-sized hail. We are watching it as the storm motion may take it to potentially the US 12 corridor. Potentially. Again, unfortunately we don't have a good view in terms of velocity. Unfortunately, because the northern Indiana radar is still offline, but again, something we're watching as well. At the very least, heavy rainfall, frequent cloudy ground lightning, and maybe some gusty winds and small hail there. Same goes, not a statement. We're also seeing some heavier storms there near the south of the Three Rivers area. That'll be heading towards the Nottawa area and Sturgis eventually as well. Again, nothing severe at this point. Let's check. Maybe some gustier winds there. This is a bit higher up, though, we have to keep in mind. So, near the White Pigeon area there.
They were almost 7,000 feet off the ground there.
Yes, so that's fairly high up. So, not all this is reaching the ground. And even then, I'm only seeing maybe 35, 40. So, again, and that's 7,000 feet up. So, again, might be some gusty winds there, but definitely nothing damaging, I don't think, at least at this time there. So, back to reflectivity. Yeah, and this storm continues to kind of look more disorganized than it was a little while ago. So, we'll take a look at velocity again just to be sure. Yeah, I'm not really even seeing anything, some gusty winds, but not even really seeing any obvious signs of rotation at this point. So hopefully that trend continues. We're still watching some gustier winds in the northeastern Calhoun County that will now be entering northwestern Jackson County there over the Springport area. Again, no warnings or statements in effect, but just something we are continuing to watch nonetheless. Really, and as we just mentioned a bit ago, once this line of storms get out of here, that'll be it for this. That'll most likely be it for the severe weather threat. Additional storms will be possible later this evening to tonight, but that will primarily be a heavy rainfall threat, which some of these areas don't need much more in the way of rainfall, unfortunately. So,
yep.
Take a look at that again, actually, real quickly. Storm totals again. We have very heavy rainfall, particularly across the I-94 corridor, along with some other areas. It's starting here in the flood warning area across portions of Calhoun and Kalamazoo counties. We are now it looks like we are now starting to see some 5-inch pixels there, at least according to radar estimates there near the Fort Creek, between the Fort Custer Recreation Area and the Battle Creek Kellogg Regional Airport there. So, maybe another area approaching that near the Level Park area over towards Urbandale as well. Again, these are radar estimates, but we do have confirmed reports of over 3.5 inches of rain there, at least at the Battle Creek Airport. So, and it was still raining at that point when that was submitted too. So, another area of heavy rain is the Berry County area over towards Hastings. I am seeing indications potentially over 4 inches of rain in spots there. North of the Hastings area, potentially over 4 inches of rain, as at least radar estimated. I've not seen any reports from there yet, but be interested about that. And the same goes across portions of Kent County into Ottawa counties as well for potential. Again, similar story. At least 2 to 3 inches with localized up to 4 possible. At least based on radar indications there. So, and there's no advisory yet. I have not seen an advisory come through for this area, but also in the portions of of Ionia into northwestern Clinton, and especially southern Gratiot County. That is another area where we're seeing heavy rainfall, at least according to radar estimates. So, again, we're indicating, especially towards the Perrington area, in southern Gratiot County, southwest Gratiot County, I should say. Again, at least radar estimated approaching 4.5 inches. So, some spots have been more lucky than others in the rainfall department, but towards the Lansing area, not really. We're towards Jackson, pretty much along the 127 corridor between Lansing and Jackson. Haven't had much luck, at least so far, anyway. So, hopefully we can get some rain over there tonight, but we'll see. So, I'm taking a look at radar, and not really. That storm there continues to look even more disorganized, if you ask me. So,
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised this warning hasn't been canceled. In all honesty,
there's only 10 minutes remaining on it, so I would figure.
oh yeah, I did see that.
Unless it pulses back up, I'm leaning towards they're going to let this expire. So,
Yep.
So
I didn't
again,
realize it had 10 minutes.
So again, if you're in southwest Calhoun County, that's of course the least regret. Just remain inside for at least for the next 10 minutes, and honestly longer due to the cloudy ground lightning hazard. But at this point, we're not seeing anything extremely impressive with the storm in terms of severe potential. I'll double check velocity just to be sure. Yeah, not very impressive at all there. So, but again, we still continue with the severe thunderstorm warning officially for the next 10 minutes. I would imagine the Weather Service will probably let this expire, but again, just as of course the least regret, just remain inside. And
There are some scattered power outages through Calhoun County, parts of Calhoun County, pretty much all the way up to I-69, and then it kind of cuts off a little bit. Then there's some isolated power outages throughout the rest of our area, particularly in Kent County, east of 131. But
I do know earlier this afternoon there was reports of fire departments reporting trees and lines down in the southeast side of Grand Rapids. That was around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Yeah, this is up more towards the central and northern part of Kent, actually, where those power outages are.
Yeah.
So those might be new.
It's on them. Looks like kind of around 6 o'clock, based on what I'm seeing. Just before 6, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just some isolated outages there. Nothing particularly widespread, but. Yeah, again, we also continue with at least some isolated outages across Calhoun County as well. Actually, if you give me a moment, Right. Looks like they're going to let the severe thunderstorm warning expire for southwestern Calhoun County. That will be allowed to expire at 8 o'clock, so that's kind of what we expected.
We might be getting might be getting a severe thunderstorm warning here for St. Joseph County here in a little bit, but that might not be as imminent. But starting to see some reflectivity values at about 6,000 feet over 60, so that could be an indication of some hail potential starting to ramp up there along US 12.
Yeah, and with the
It
hail,
did expire that morning.
yes. So, the warning there for southwestern Calhoun County is being allowed to expire at 8 o'clock. We'll hang around for a little bit longer though, to see what this cell here in southern St. Joseph decides to do. Just again, with it ramping up, at least on the Grand Rapids radar. That's something we're gonna watch here for the next couple of minutes. Let me take a look at velocity just to see if I can see anything. Nothing. Maybe some gusty winds. I don't see anything particularly impressive though. But we are again looking 7,000 feet up or more at this from this vantage point. Just gonna double check to confirm. Okay, yeah, that's still down. I check once in a while in case it does get repaired, but no luck yet. So unfortunately, we're gonna be working with the higher up scans for this storm. So let's actually take a look at hail tracker real quickly. A minute. Okay, yeah, I do agree that might be ramping up a little bit looking at the hail tracker. They're south of the Three Rivers area over towards the White Pigeon Huntsing area. Yeah, it's starting to ramp up there, so we'll be watching this storm over the next few minutes. See if they decide to go over warning or at the very least a special weather statement over the next few minutes. But
Getting up towards 50,000 feet there too.
Yeah, we'll go over to Echo Tops.
And the computer thinks it's hail as well.
So that makes a lot of sense. So we're watching this cell. No warning on it yet, but across southern St. Joseph County, we do have a storm that is appearing to ramp up somewhat. So we'll be here with you the next few minutes, see what the National Weather Service in northern Indiana decides to do with that. And again, this will be southern St. Joseph County. So the Constantine area, White Pigeon, and that will be heading towards the Nottawa, and eventually Sturgis, the worst part of it, at least from this radar perspective, may stay just to your north, but heads up for you as well, just in case. And also towards the Leonidas and Colon area. So, something we are continuing to watch over the next few minutes. I'm not seeing anything from the Weather Service, though, just yet, so.
Yep.
Alright, so. Take a look. I guess we should look at debris tracker, see if maybe a little bit of a hail signal there, but nothing particularly impressive, but maybe a little bit of a hail signal there, just where it's a little bit.
Honestly, that debris tracker was the only product that didn't really show hail potential.
Another hail tracker legend enabled there, but there we go. So there we go. So, but yeah, nothing particularly impressive, but maybe some hail potential still based on our other products. And actually, it does look like reflectivity starting to back off a little bit, just a tad.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So we might be in the clear here.
Yeah. We'll stick around. Just
see.
Yeah. If anything, they might plop a special weather statement on it if they don't go severe thunderstorm.
Yep.
And that's for the gusty winds and small hail potential. Yeah. Nothing really. Nothing other than that sticking out to me really at this point. We are watching these cells here in the northern Jackson County, maybe in parts of southern Ingham County as well. Nothing particularly impressive with these storms. Maybe some gustier winds there southwest of the Onondaga area. towards Springport and Tompkins. I am seeing some indications of potentially some gustier winds.
Yep.
Seeing some pixels approaching 45 miles per hour, but that's about 4,500 feet up. But again, no statements or warnings or anything like that, but potential for some gustier winds there in the northwestern Jackson County. And same goes with this cell over towards the Stockbridge area, towards the southeastern Ingham and northeastern Jackson County line. Again, nothing particularly impressive, but maybe some gustier winds there as well.
LS46, the energy in my voice explains it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Today's just been one of those days where
I just need a good. I don't even need like damage or anything. Like, I don't want to see people's property damaged or anything like that, but I just want a good shelf cloud. Like a good, big, massive shelf cloud.
yeah,
Or
there
a
you go.
tornado in an open field or something like that. I just need a good storm. That's all I want.
Obviously, we don't want the damage or the other stuff that unfortunately can come associated with that, but
Yep.
there hasn't been too much of that lately.
It's been very quiet since May.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, we've had a couple of these similar type events where it's really, honestly, it's been more structured than anything. But
Yep.
this warning should be expiring, should be dropping off here in the next minute, and check the hail tracker on this storm just to be sure, but I don't think it's quite as impressive as it was. Yeah, even the hail tracker's starting to back off now, so again, still maybe some small hail near the Considine and White Pigeon area towards the Nottawa area. But even that's starting to drop off from earlier. It's kind of in that small hail, bordering large hail possible on the legend, but if anything, it would be small hail at this point, because we also have to keep in mind it's looking higher up in this storm.
Yeah.
Considering
that product also only updates every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's a delayed product as well. So latest scan there is 752, and that compared to basically 8 o'clock on the reflectivity. So I say that we are getting a couple 60 dBz pixels again near the Featherstone Road area.
That warning is now no longer in effect. It has been allowed to expire.
Yeah. And stick around for a couple more minutes because we don't want to log off and then have to come back 30 seconds later because Northern Indiana decided to issue a warning. But again, they have not opted to do so yet. So LS46 in chat saying, I think I jinxed it back when I said Michigan was going for their tornado record.
I think we all jinxed it. I think everyone in the weather community was talking about that.
Well, yeah, because earlier, back in March and back between March and May, it was quite busy there for a bit. So we've had those couple events that produced a bunch of those spin up tornadoes, but
27 tornadoes over the course of 7 hours.
Yeah,
between those two dates.
Mm-hmm. And we'll take one more reset of the situation here. So we do continue with showers and thunderstorms, mainly approaching at this point the I-94 corridor is really where we're watching at this point, at least for the next couple of hours. The I-94 and then the US 12 corridors, just in case. But just in case we do have one or two storms go severe the next couple of hours. Then other than that, we're going to be transitioning more towards primarily a heavy rainfall threat for the rest of the evening, with these storms off to the northwest. That'll be moving towards primarily northwestern portions of the West Michigan area first. So these storms will be moving towards the Ludington area eventually, towards the Hart area as well. After they cross the lake, if they make it, it probably won't be much more than a heavy rainfall threat and some cloud-to-ground lightning. Some additional cells we're watching back towards the Kenosha area, over towards Racine. But yeah, we're not expecting really anything in terms of severe potential, given the timing they'll be moving in, which is after dark. And then it's after sunset we begin to lose the instability. Capping begins to take over with time. So again, I think we're on the turning corner of the severe potential, especially over the next probably hour or two, really.
Yeah. We'll get a really good idea in by the next hour, by 9 p.m. when the FPC comes out with their update. Got a report of 2.35 inches of rain out of Hastings and Berry County within that flood advisory, so that makes sense. And again, that matches that storm total precipitation product we were looking at earlier.
Yeah. That's been the total since 4 p.m. Do some quick math here. So 2.35, we'll say still kind of raining there, so we'll say 4 hours. That quickly averages out to just over a half inch per hour, but it's entirely possible that it started off as light rain and then you get the heavy rainfall. So
yep.
But that's just a quick math average. But so we do continue at the very least with some flood advisories and a flood warning, especially across portions of northwestern Calhoun and the northeastern Kalamazoo counties. The broader flood advisory continues really across central Kalamazoo County into northwestern Calhoun and into southern portions of Berry County. We also have another flood advisory for kind of the central and northeastern portions of Berry County, for the Hastings area, over towards Carlton, over towards the Woodland area, Woodbury as well, and then another flood advisory, at least for the next couple hours, across portions of eastern Ottawa and the kind of that west central portion of Kent County there. Other than that, not really seeing anything. I'll take one more look at these storms, and then we'll probably sign off here, just to be sure. But again, we are still watching a couple of not severe, but potentially stronger storms here across St. Joseph County. And now we'll be heading into southern portions of Calhoun and Branch counties over the next little while. One more look at velocity there. There's something there south of the Nottawa area. Nothing extremely impressive. That probably leaning towards more gusty wind than anything there, but we'll keep an eye on that behind the scenes. Same goes. Actually, I will say we might be ramping up just a little bit across near the Ingham and Jackson County lines towards the Onondaga area. I am seeing some indications approaching 50 miles an hour there. That is
Reflectivity's ramping up there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, especially towards Leslie there, southeast of there. It's ramping up. Let's go over to Hail Tracker real quickly there. Yeah. It was a delayed scan though, so 758. At least at 758, it was indicating maybe some hail potential near the Stockbridge area, but this is a delayed scan, keep in mind, so. Even towards the Sturgis area northwest of there. Again, maybe some small hail potential. Unfortunately, this scan's a little bit delayed, so we'll go back to reflectivity. But just a couple storms that we are watching behind the scenes. What do you think, Jonah? Do you want to stick around or do you want to get out of here?
I was going to give it one more reflectivity scan just to see on that Onondaga storm, the Leslie storm there along US 127. But even if that did continue to increase or intensify, I should say, I think by the time it got to severe criteria, it would be out of our coverage area. But I wanted to give it one more reflectivity scan.
Yeah, that makes sense there. So we'll stick around probably for a couple more minutes. Let that next.
LS46, Jonah, did West Michigan Weather just invest in a bunch of new storm chasing equipment this year too? Yes, we did. That roof mounted camera was our biggest investment. And let's just say that it was not cheap. Yeah, it was pretty expensive. It was quite the project, but it's working super well for us on the 2 chases that we've actually gotten to use it for. So, but yeah, we're itching to have another chase that we can actually use that for and let you guys see some shelf clouds. So
yeah, do that without running over trees or something. Cause
yeah, we'll try. Things happen.
Yep. So again, we're continuing to watch this cell, mainly southeast of the Onondaga area, north of Jackson, towards Leslie, over towards the Rives Junction and Pleasant Lake area. Let me check. Little no updated scan on that debris tracker. Unfortunately, not debris tracker, hail tracker. Excuse me.
We're still looking at the 807 reflectivity scan as well. I should get another one here shortly.
Yep.
If I don't see any intensification, then I think we should be good, but we'll keep an eye on stuff behind the scenes, obviously.
Yeah. And even if we do sign off and it does decide to go severe, obviously we'll come right back. But
yep.
Just real quick.
That newest scan. Hold on.
The 809 scan.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, that weakened it. So, and it weakened our US 12 storm as well. So I'm good with this.
All right. Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it here. So, second here. Something else before we go. Since these storms will be beginning to depart the area over the next little while, we'll pull up what to do after a storm graphic here. And if you do have any damage to report, for those of you that did see storms across West Michigan, feel free to send those damage reports to us. Just be aware of hazards after a storm. Of course, additional storms. In this case, our additional storms will be further off to our west, but that'll be more towards a late evening, overnight problem, I think. But again, still additional storms. Wait 30 minutes before heading outside. In addition to the additional storms, even when a storm moves away from you, you can still get cloud ground lightning outside of that. So you still want to be inside. Be aware of any down power lines or natural gas leaks. I have seen a few reports of that across portions of the area this afternoon and evening. Structural damage or storm debris. Your storm debris in that case would generally be tree limbs or trees or something of that stuff of that nature. And looters, I don't really expect that problem. I would hope, but
no, not for an event like this.
I would hope not, but you never know. So, but obviously, you'll never want to approach those down power lines. If you do happen to smell gas or come across those down power lines, call 911 first before reporting it to us. You want to report to emergency services first. And then if you do have to clean up, with the type of damage I'm seeing, I don't think prolonged power outages will be an issue, but not even that many outages realistically. But if you do happen to be without power and are using a generator, just keep the generators outdoors, away from windows and doors. You have to be really careful of that due to carbon monoxide poisoning. That's very dangerous. So you want to use flashlights as opposed to candles, as I know candles are nice and all, but that can, especially if they're left unattended, that's how house fires happen. So but you'll want to not if you do see any debris, just in case, wear those sturdy shoes and protective clothing. That's especially if you're cleaning up tree limbs or something outside. There's some from time to time there could be stuff that's a little bit sharper and can hurt you. Stay hydrated and allow breaks if you do happen to be cleaning up. And this isn't. Again, we do expect additional storms potentially tonight, but this is not going to be a multi-day event. We are looking quiet, at least for the next few days after this, fortunately. So, and in fact, tomorrow, I do think we'll have some lower humidity coming in as well.
Yeah, that's what I saw as well. So that'll be welcomed.
Yep. Back off this heat a little bit and humidity before it returns again next weekend. But again, if you do have damage reports to submit to us, again, you could do that on social media, tag us there, or again, we also have a website. You can do that, and that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. And I will also say before we get out of here, if this is going to be completely optional, we would never require this for our severe weather coverage or forecast for the most part at West Michigan Weather. But if you do want to optionally donate and support our efforts here at West Michigan Weather, that would be greatly appreciated. You can do that at www.westmichiganweather.net/donate. And again, completely optional, no pressure, but if you do want to donate and support us here, that's greatly appreciated. And any donations we get go right back into our operation here, because it's how we pay for our radar software, or streaming and chasing and gas and equipment for our storm chasing that we do here. So again, we are going to still keep an eye on these storms behind the scenes just in case one does flare up again. And we're also watching this additional activity off to the northwest, except I did see they did issue a special marine warning, but by the time that
it's for
gets
34 knots or greater.
Yeah, by the time that gets here, I don't think that'll be particularly impressive. So
No.
again, if you are in areas of West Michigan that saw heavy rain, just be aware of any flooded roadways. Turn around, don't drown. Find an alternative route. But other than that, I think we're gonna get out of here. So,
yep.
All right.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Yep. Thanks for joining us here at West Michigan Weather for this severe weather coverage. This is Jacob live here of West Michigan Weather. Stay tuned to West Michigan Weather. We will keep you advised of any future severe weather situations. All right. Wrong thing. There we go.